Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people passed by, never noticing, yet it could be quietly hiding a rare treasure. One small piece of metal, barely larger than your fingernail, that can unlock stories of history, minting secrets, and even serious collector value. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing coins from the 20th century, the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. What makes this ordinary-looking penny capture the attention of collectors and history enthusiasts alike? Let's find out. The 1967 Lincoln penny is part of a series that Americans have seen for more than a century, yet this particular coin stands out for subtle reasons. If you glance at it quickly, it might seem just like any other penny you've handled. But for collectors, the details, the year, and the lack of a mint mark tell a story that's anything but ordinary. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's understand what this coin is. Officially, this penny is a 1-cent coin, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse or front side, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The design had been in place for decades by 1967, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Over the years, minor changes were made, but the essential imagery stayed the same, keeping Lincoln's profile familiar to generations of Americans. In 1967, the penny was made primarily of copper, a material chosen for its durability and historical significance. Copper pennies had been standard in the U.S. for decades, and it wasn't until the 1980s that zinc began to dominate the composition. So why does the 1967 penny get special attention? One reason is its mint mark, or rather, the absence of one. In U.S. coinage, the mint mark indicates where a coin was produced. During this period, coins were often minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, with the corresponding letters P, D, or S. The 1967 Lincoln penny minted in Philadelphia, however, had no mint mark at all. While a missing mint mark might seem trivial, it is a key identifier that collectors use to categorize coins. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint during this year are considered the baseline, and because the production numbers were extraordinarily high, most 1967 pennies are common. But even within common coins, subtle variations, errors, and condition can create remarkable opportunities for collectors. Let's take a step back and look at the history behind this coin. In the mid-1960s, the United States was going through a period of economic change. The demand for coins was rising rapidly, driven by both commerce and the popularity of coin collecting. In 1965, the U.S. Mint switched from using a pure copper penny to a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc to save money. By 1967, this composition was firmly established, and the coin you hold is likely to be made from that copper-zinc blend. The Lincoln design remained unchanged, but the Mint continued experimenting with production efficiency and quality control. This year falls right in the middle of that era, which makes it historically interesting for numismatists. When it comes to unique features, the 1967 no-mint mark penny is relatively straightforward, yet there are a few points worth noting. The obverse displays the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. It is detailed, showing the lines of Lincoln's face, his coat, and his bow tie. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial dominates, with a tiny depiction of the statue of Lincoln visible within its columns. For collectors, one area of fascination is the coin's surface. Some 1967 pennies have small die errors, such as double die features, weak strikes, or slight variations in the lettering. These errors are often subtle, and spotting them requires a keen eye or a magnifying glass. They are not common enough to make every coin extraordinary, but when they appear, they can significantly increase value. Why is this penny rare or valuable? In truth, most 1967 no-mint mark pennies are not extremely rare. Millions were produced, making it a coin that almost anyone can find in a pocket change jar. However, rarity in numismatics isn't just about numbers. It's also about condition, eye appeal, and minting anomalies. A 1967 penny in uncirculated condition, with full luster and no wear, is far more valuable than one worn down from decades of use. Exceptional coins graded by professional services can fetch higher prices, especially if they exhibit unusual features or errors. Collectors are particularly drawn to coins that have survived over 50 years without damage, corrosion, or scratches. Auction results give a clearer picture of what these coins can be worth. A standard circulated 1967 penny might sell for just a few cents to $1, depending on condition. Uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS-65 or higher by the professional coin grading service, can reach $5 to $10. Coins with verified die errors or exceptional luster might command even higher prices. For example, a 1967 doubled die penny, which shows subtle doubling in the date or lettering, has sold in auctions for hundreds of dollars. While these figures are modest compared to rare pennies from earlier decades, they illustrate that even coins from the 1960s can have notable value for collectors who know what to look for. Identifying a real 1967 no-mint mark penny is not difficult, but it requires attention to detail. The first step is to check the mint mark area. A true Philadelphia penny from 1967 will have no letter below the date. Counterfeit or altered coins can sometimes appear to match, but genuine coins have distinct characteristics in their strike, weight, and diameter. A magnifying glass or loupe can help examine the date, lettering, and rim for signs of authenticity. The coin should weigh about 3.11 grams and measure 19.05 millimeters in diameter. Coins that deviate significantly from these specifications could be altered, damaged, or counterfeit. Experienced collectors also look for the sharpness of the design and the quality of the strike, which can indicate whether a coin is genuinely uncirculated or simply a well-preserved circulated coin. Fun facts about the 1967 Lincoln penny make it even more interesting. Despite being a relatively common coin, it was produced during a fascinating period in American history. This was the same year that Thurgood Marshall became the first African American appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the Vietnam War was intensifying, shaping the nation's consciousness. Coins like this penny circulated in pockets, purses, and cash registers during these momentous events, connecting everyday Americans to history in a tangible way. Another surprising detail is that some collectors prize this coin not just for its face value or condition, but for its role in the evolution of the Lincoln cent series. It sits at the midpoint between older, pure copper coins and the modern zinc-coated cents that dominate today. Collectors love the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny for its simplicity, history, and potential for discovery. It's a coin that is easy to understand, yet offers subtle layers of intrigue for those who look closely. Finding one in exceptional condition is like a small victory for a coin enthusiast. Owning it connects the collector to both the era of the 1960s and the longer story of Abraham Lincoln's presence on U.S. coinage. It's also a coin that encourages learning and observation. The more you examine it, the more you notice the craftsmanship, the minor imperfections, and the small details that tell a story of American minting practices. Even though it may not make headlines like a rare 1909 penny or a mint-era Lincoln from the 1940s, the 1967 no-mint mark penny has a quiet charm. It represents a moment in time, an everyday object that became collectible, and a chance for anyone to connect with history through something as simple as a 1-cent coin. It's proof that rarity isn't always about scarcity. Sometimes, it's about context, condition, and the thrill of discovery. So next time you come across an old penny, take a moment to look closely. You might be holding a coin that seems ordinary but carries decades of history in its metal. The 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny may not make you rich overnight, but it can offer a fascinating glimpse into America's past and the ongoing story of coin collecting. Every scratch, every gleam of copper, tells a tale, waiting for someone to notice. Who knows? The next penny you pick up could be the start of a remarkable collection, or perhaps a hidden gem that others have overlooked. Keep your eyes open, examine carefully, and never underestimate the stories that even the smallest coin can tell. The 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that history is all around us, sometimes hiding in plain sight. From the busy streets of Philadelphia to your pocket, from the hands of everyday Americans to the eyes of careful collectors, this small piece of metal carries meaning, mystery, and a connection across generations. It's more than currency. It's a piece of heritage, a collectible, and a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can have extraordinary stories. And the next time you hold a penny, maybe you'll see it not just as change, but as a tiny time capsule waiting to reveal its secrets. Welcome back. Imagine holding a small piece of American history in the palm of your hand, a coin so ordinary at first glance that millions were minted, yet hiding secrets that make it a treasure for collectors. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing pennies from the Lincoln series, the 1969 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. This isn't just a coin you find in your pocket change. It's a piece of art, a story, and in some cases, a ticket to a serious collector's prize. The 1969 D Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which first debuted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent was revolutionary at the time. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's portrait on the obverse side, and it quickly became a staple of American currency. By 1969, the design had undergone only minor adjustments, but each coin carried the legacy of over 6 decades of history. The D Mint mark indicates that this particular penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the 2 primary mints producing pennies in that year, the other being Philadelphia. Now, 1969 was a fascinating year for coins and the nation alike. The United States was experiencing significant cultural and political shifts. The Vietnam War was ongoing, the moon landing was just around the corner, and the economy was facing its own set of challenges. Pennies like this one were circulating everywhere, passing from hand to hand, often unnoticed, yet quietly witnessing history. Most of the 1969 D pennies were made from a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This copper-heavy makeup gave the coin a warm reddish-brown tone, and while today we often see older pennies turned brown due to oxidation, when freshly minted, they had a lustrous shine that reflected light beautifully. But what really makes the 1969 D Lincoln penny stand out to collectors isn't just its age or its copper content. Some coins from this year have become the stuff of legend. One of the most talked about variations is the 1969 D double die obverse penny. This is a coin where, due to a misalignment during the minting process, the lettering and numbers on the front of the coin appear doubled. If you look closely, you can see it in the words Liberty or in the date itself. This doubling wasn't intentional, but errors like this are highly prized because they are rare. Most pennies produced at the Denver Mint that year were standard, but a small number of these double die errors slipped through quality control, and that's where their value skyrockets. Beyond double die errors, there are other subtle characteristics that collectors look for. The depth of the mint mark, the sharpness of Lincoln's features, and the texture of the fields can all hint at whether a coin is a high-quality specimen. In fact, some 1969 D pennies in pristine condition, often graded as MS65 or higher, can be worth significantly more than their face value simply because they have survived decades without wear. These coins are not just money. They are tiny, tangible pieces of history, so why is this penny rare or valuable? It's a combination of factors. Rarity comes from errors and exceptional quality, while value is influenced by demand among collectors who understand the historical significance. A standard 1969 D penny might only be worth a few cents above face value if it's circulated, but a genuine 1969 D double die obverse can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. For example, in past auctions, some of these double die coins have sold for anywhere from $20,000 to over $100,000, depending on their condition and certification. These sales capture the imagination because they show how something as common as a penny can become a coveted collector's item. Identifying a real 1969 D penny versus a fake requires a careful eye. Authentic coins will have a consistent copper color and weight, precise details in Lincoln's hair, beard, and suit, and properly centered lettering. Counterfeiters often overlook tiny details, such as the exact placement of the mint mark or the depth of the die impression. Collectors frequently use magnifying tools and reference guides to confirm authenticity, and professional grading services can certify a coin, giving buyers and sellers confidence in its legitimacy. But there's more than just monetary value here. There are fun and surprising details about the 1969 D penny that make it endlessly fascinating. For instance, while most pennies of that era are dull and worn, some retain a brilliant red luster decades later. The coin's design subtly reflects Lincoln's features with such care that even after 60 years, one can appreciate the fine lines and contours that Brenner etched into the metal. And the story behind errors like the double die highlights the human aspect of coin production. Machines, people, and processes coming together in ways that sometimes create unexpected treasures. Collectors love the 1969 D Lincoln penny not just for its value, but for the thrill of discovery. Hunting for a double die error, spotting a high-grade specimen in circulation, or examining the coin under magnification to see every intricate detail is an experience. It connects people to history, to craftsmanship, and to the tiny moments that often go unnoticed in our daily lives. There's a certain excitement in knowing that a coin you hold may have been in someone's pocket in 1969, passing through history quietly until it landed in your hands. Even if a collector never finds a high-value error, the 1969 D penny still offers satisfaction. It represents a period in American history, the artistry of coin design, and the story of the Lincoln cent itself. These pennies carry a legacy that is more than monetary. They are symbols of heritage, of the everyday lives of millions of Americans, and of the care and precision that went into making coins that were meant to last for generations. So next time you see a copper penny, don't just dismiss it. Look closer. Notice the details. Think about the year it was minted, the mint mark, the texture, and even the small chance that it might be an error. The 1969 D Lincoln penny is a reminder that history isn't just in textbooks or monuments. It's in your pocket, it's in the coins you touch, and it's waiting for those who take the time to discover its stories. From the ordinary to the extraordinary, from everyday use to a collector's treasure, this penny tells a tale of craftsmanship, chance, and history wrapped into a single, small circle of copper. And as you hold it, consider this. Among the millions minted, only a handful might carry that subtle difference, that tiny twist of fate that turns an ordinary coin into something remarkable. The 1969 D Lincoln penny invites us to look deeper, to wonder, and to appreciate the hidden stories in the things we often overlook. It is a testament to the fact that history can be found in the most unexpected places, and that sometimes the most ordinary objects can hold the most extraordinary secrets. Keep searching, keep learning, and you might just find a penny that changes the way you see history forever. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people passed by without a second thought. Yet hidden within its simple copper surface could be a piece of history, a collector's treasure, and perhaps even a valuable asset. Today, we're diving into a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, but has captured the attention of collectors for decades. The 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. You might think a penny from the 1980s is nothing special, but stick with me, because the story of this coin is full of surprises, rare quirks, and a fascinating journey through American coinage history. The 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is part of the Lincoln cent series, a line of coins that has been in continuous production since 1909, celebrating the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, America's 16th president. The obverse of the coin, as with all Lincoln cents, features a profile of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His image has become one of the most recognized on American currency. The reverse, in 1981, displayed the familiar Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been used since 1959 to mark the centennial of Lincoln's birth. While it might appear ordinary in design, what makes this coin stand out is the absence of a mint mark. The year 1981 was a significant period for the United States Mint. The economy was recovering from high inflation, and the mint was producing billions of pennies for everyday circulation. Most coins from this year bear a mint mark indicating where they were struck, a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. However, some pennies came without any mark at all, particularly from the Philadelphia facility, which at times did not include the P on coins. This seemingly small detail is what sets the 1981 no-mint mark penny apart. To the casual observer, it is just a penny. To collectors, it is a piece of minting history and a subtle clue about how coins were produced during this era. The Lincoln penny in 1981 was primarily made of a copper-based alloy. After 1962, pennies were composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them a reddish-brown color that remains iconic to this day. This coin maintains that classic composition, making it similar in look and feel to pennies from previous decades, yet it is distinct in its production nuances. The design, with Lincoln's dignified profile and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, remained unchanged from previous years, yet enthusiasts often look closer for subtle errors and die variations, which can make certain coins more valuable. Some examples of the 1981 no-mint mark penny have been reported with minor die cracks, double dies, or slight off-center strikes. These minting quirks, though rare, are like hidden signatures that elevate an otherwise common coin into the realm of collectability. What really drives interest in this penny is its scarcity in certain conditions. While millions of pennies were minted in 1981, the no-mint mark versions from Philadelphia are less common than the Denver or other marked coins. Collectors value them because they represent a slice of minting history where not every coin followed the expected marking conventions. Scarcity combined with condition can dramatically affect the coin's value. A penny that has been circulated heavily might be worth just its face value, yet a pristine, uncirculated 1981 no-mint mark penny could fetch 10 or 20 times that amount in collector markets. The difference comes down to detail, condition, and rarity. Auction results give us a clear picture of how these coins are perceived in the market. For instance, uncirculated examples of the 1981 no-mint mark penny have been listed online and in coin shows, sometimes fetching prices from a few dollars to more than $50, depending on grading. Coins that display unusual minting errors, such as doubling on the date or the lettering, have sold for even higher amounts. These are not coins you'll find making headlines for millions, but in the world of penny collectors, they are prized for their subtlety and historical significance. Every small scratch, shine, or imperfection, or the lack thereof, tells a story. Collectors often seek coins graded by professional services, like the Professional Coin Grading Service, to ensure authenticity and precise condition, and these services can significantly influence the value. Identifying a genuine 1981 no-mint mark penny is straightforward if you know what to look for. First, check the date. It should clearly read 1981 without any extra lines or alterations. Next, examine the mint mark area above the date. For the no-mint mark variety, this space will be empty. Any signs of tampering, such as an altered or removed D, should be treated with caution. Inspect the coin's overall detail. Genuine coins will have the classic copper hue, weight, and feel consistent with pennies from that era. Any significant deviations in color, texture, or strike may indicate a counterfeit or modified coin. Using a magnifying glass or loupe can reveal subtle die marks, doubling, or minor scratches, which help determine authenticity and value. Beyond technical details, the 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny carries interesting stories. For example, it is part of the broader narrative of Lincoln cents, which were the first regular-issue American coins to feature a real historical figure. This innovation in 1909 set the stage for a tradition of honoring presidents and notable Americans on currency. The 1981 penny continues that legacy quietly, often overlooked in circulation, yet it represents decades of consistent design and national memory. Another fun fact is that some collectors consider these pennies ideal for beginner collections because they are affordable, easy to find and change, and offer an opportunity to learn about grading, condition, and minting errors without a massive financial commitment. Collectors today love the 1981 no-mint mark penny for its understated rarity and the stories it tells. It serves as a reminder that even coins from our everyday lives can become historical artifacts when examined closely. The appeal lies not only in potential monetary value but also in the sense of discovery and connection to a broader history of American coinage. Holding this penny, one can imagine it traveling through countless pockets, wallets, and cash registers, quietly witnessing the lives of Americans while maintaining its identity. It's a small, humble object that holds a surprising depth of narrative. For many, the coin represents more than just copper and zinc. It's a teaching tool, a collectible, and a bridge to the past. Those who hunt for 1981 no-mint mark pennies often find themselves learning about the intricacies of minting, the evolution of coin designs, and the subtle art of coin grading. Each penny has the potential to reveal a small secret, whether it's an unusual strike, a faint die crack, or simply the story of a Philadelphia mint that didn't mark every coin. The thrill for collectors is in the search, the verification, and the satisfaction of discovering a coin that is slightly out of the ordinary. As we wrap up, consider this. The next time you hold a seemingly ordinary penny, it might be hiding a unique feature that connects you to a larger story. The 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that even small objects can carry history, scarcity, and intrigue. While it may not be the most valuable coin in the world, Its quiet charm, subtle rarity, and connection to a continuous tradition of American coinage make it an object worth noticing. Keep an eye on your change, because treasures often arrive in the most familiar places, waiting for someone curious enough to recognize their significance. So the next time you glance at a penny, ask yourself, could this tiny coin be more than it seems? Could it hold a hidden story, a collector's secret, or even a small piece of history? The 1981 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny proves that in the world of coins, appearances can be deceiving, and even the most ordinary coin can have extraordinary tales to tell. Welcome back. Imagine holding a small, ordinary coin in your hand and discovering it could be worth hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. That's exactly the thrill collectors feel when they come across a 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. On the surface, it looks just like the pennies in your pocket or the ones stacked in jars at home. But to the trained eye, it's a piece of American history, a subtle anomaly that tells a story about the coins we use every day and the hidden surprises they can hold. Today, we're diving deep into the 1984 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, exploring its history, unique features, and why collectors prize it so highly. The 1984 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features Lincoln's portrait on the obverse or front, side, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. By 1984, the penny had undergone minor design adjustments, but the core elements remained the same. It was a time when the United States was still heavily reliant on copper in its coinage. Pennies minted in that year contained primarily copper, with only a small percentage of zinc. This combination gave the coins a sturdy feel and a familiar reddish-brown hue. Typically, pennies are marked with a small letter indicating the mint location. D represents Denver, S for San Francisco, and the absence of a mint mark usually signifies it was minted in Philadelphia. However, in 1984, most pennies minted in Philadelphia did not carry a mint mark at all, which was standard practice for that mint during that period. This is where things get interesting. The 1984 no-mint mark penny is ordinary in the sense that it was produced in massive quantities, but certain varieties and high-grade specimens are what make it collectible. The combination of its historical context, condition, and subtle errors can elevate its value far beyond its face value. Let's talk about the coin's physical characteristics. The obverse side features a detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing right. Above Lincoln's head is the inscription "In God We Trust," while to the left, you'll see Liberty, and to the right, the date 1984. The reverse showcases the Lincoln Memorial, with the words United States of America at the top and 1 cent at the bottom. The motto E Pluribus Unum is inscribed above the memorial. Made primarily of copper, this coin measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter and weighs just over 3 grams. Over time, the copper develops a unique patina, giving older pennies a distinctive color and texture that collectors find appealing. Errors and variations are a key reason why the 1984 no-mint mark penny draws attention. While most circulated coins are straightforward, some 1984 pennies exhibit doubling on the date or on the lettering, known as double die errors. Others may have slight off-center strikes or variations in the relief, which are subtle but significant for collectors. Even the smallest anomalies can turn a common coin into a valuable piece, sometimes worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its rarity and condition. The appeal lies not just in monetary value but in the story each coin tells, how it was minted, the forces at the mint that led to a misstrike, and how it survived decades in circulation without being discarded. Now, why is this penny considered rare or valuable? On the surface, 1984 pennies were produced in the billions, making them seem common. But collectors are not just interested in sheer numbers. They seek coins in mint condition, uncirculated coins with original luster, and those with any unusual features. A 1984 no-mint mark penny that has been carefully preserved, showing no wear, with sharp details on Lincoln's hair, the inscriptions, and the memorial columns, can command a premium price. Furthermore, coins with known errors, like doubling or planchet flaws, are highly sought after. These characteristics make what seems like a simple penny a fascinating collectible. To understand its market value, it's helpful to look at real examples. High-grade 1984 no-mint mark pennies have sold at auction for hundreds of dollars. A coin graded MS-65, which indicates near-perfect condition, might fetch between $50 and $150, while a coin with a double die obverse can reach $500 or more, depending on the buyer and market demand. Collectors on specialized platforms and coin shows are constantly seeking these specimens, knowing that a coin with a rare error or pristine condition is a limited commodity. The thrill of finding such a coin in a roll of pennies or a drawer full of loose change is what keeps enthusiasts coming back year after year. Identifying a genuine 1984 no-mint mark penny requires careful observation. Authentic coins should have consistent weight and measurements, a sharp strike, and no signs of tampering. Counterfeit coins exist, though they are uncommon, so it's crucial to examine the details closely. The date should be clear and proportionate, the letters and numbers crisp, and the relief of Lincoln's portrait and the memorial well-defined. Experienced collectors often use magnification and lighting to inspect subtle details. Any irregularities that appear too uniform or artificially made may indicate a counterfeit or an altered coin. Knowledge and attention to detail are key to distinguishing a true collectible from an imitation. There are also some fun and surprising facts about the 1984 penny. For example, 1984 was the 175th anniversary of George Washington's birth, a year filled with commemorations across the United States, though the Lincoln cent continued its steady circulation quietly in pockets and registers nationwide. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed in 1959, remained a symbol not just of Lincoln's legacy but also of mid-century American coin design, representing continuity and tradition. Many collectors enjoy the story of Lincoln himself, the enduring design, and the fact that these coins are one of the few pieces of history most people handle every day without realizing their significance. Collectors today love the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny for several reasons. It represents a snapshot of American history, a tangible connection to the past. The coin is relatively easy to find, yet the possibility of discovering a rare error or a perfect specimen keeps the hunt exciting. It appeals to both novice and experienced collectors, serving as an accessible entry point into coin collecting while offering potential rewards for those who dig a little deeper. The combination of historical significance, subtle variations, and the thrill of discovery makes this penny a favorite in many collections. As we wrap up, consider this. A small, unassuming coin in your pocket or jar could be more than just spare change. The 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary stories, surprises, and value. Next time you encounter a penny from that year, take a closer look. You never know what history might be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. The story of this penny is not just about its copper and design, but about the way we value history, attention to detail, and the thrill of uncovering something rare in the everyday. Every coin has a tale, and the 1984 Lincoln penny is a small but remarkable chapter in America's story. Welcome back. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people have used every day, but most never notice its hidden story. One small piece of copper and zinc can connect you to history, to a moment frozen in time, and sometimes to a surprising value that even collectors dream about. Today, we're going to explore one of those quietly intriguing coins, the 1991 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it might look like any ordinary penny, but stay with me because there's more here than meets the eye. The 1991 Lincoln penny is part of America's long-standing tradition of honoring Abraham Lincoln on our 1-cent coins. This penny shows the familiar profile of Lincoln on the front, or obverse, a design that has been in place since 1909, the centennial of Lincoln's birth. It was created to celebrate one of the most revered presidents in American history, a man whose leadership shaped the nation during its most challenging times. The Lincoln penny has gone through various changes over the decades, but the 1991 issue holds its own story. This coin with no mint mark tells us something specific about where it was made and, intriguingly, about its place in collector circles today. In 1991, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies. Most of these were made in Philadelphia and Denver, with the Denver coins marked with a small D mint mark, while Philadelphia coins typically had none. The 1991 penny with no mint mark came from the Philadelphia Mint, making it part of a long line of coins struck in one of America's oldest and most historic mints. This was a period when the mint focused on efficiency and consistency, producing everyday coins that would circulate widely across the country. But even among these billions of ordinary coins, some have characteristics that make them stand out. The 1991 Lincoln penny is composed mainly of zinc, with a thin copper plating. This composition was standard for pennies made after 1982, when the mint switched from primarily copper coins to zinc cores to save on production costs. The coin's obverse design features the right-facing profile of Abraham Lincoln, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1991. On the reverse side, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol not only of Lincoln's legacy but also a reminder of the nation's commitment to remembering its past. While the design may seem familiar and unchanging, subtle details can catch the eye of collectors, especially when it comes to the condition, strike, and any unusual variations. So, what makes a 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny stand out to collectors? At first glance, it might seem that this coin is common since millions were made. However, the key to its value lies in its condition, any minting anomalies, and its scarcity in high-grade form. Coins that have remained uncirculated, with sharp details and no signs of wear, are much more desirable. Occasionally, collectors come across pennies with unusual errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet flaws, and these errors can significantly increase a coin's worth. Even a coin from a common year can become a prized possession if it exhibits a rare anomaly. Real auction results and collector sales show that while most 1991 pennies are worth only their face value, the rare uncirculated or error versions can fetch considerably more. For example, a 1991 no-mint mark penny in pristine condition, graded as MS-65 or higher by a professional grading service, can sell for several dollars, sometimes even more if it displays a particularly attractive strike or luster. Error coins, such as those with double dies or missing details, have been known to reach into the hundreds, drawing attention from both seasoned collectors and casual enthusiasts alike. These coins offer a chance to own a piece of history that is not only visually appealing but also potentially profitable. Identifying a genuine 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is straightforward once you know what to look for. The coin should have the correct weight, 2.5 grams, and the proper dimensions, 19.05 millimeters in diameter. Its color should be a consistent reddish-brown or copper tone, depending on circulation and age. A close inspection of the details, particularly Lincoln's face and the inscriptions, can reveal whether it is authentic or if there are any unusual characteristics. Beware of counterfeits or altered coins. These are rare for modern pennies, but it's always wise to compare with a verified genuine coin or consult a professional if you suspect something unusual. Beyond its composition and potential value, the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has some surprising details that add to its charm. For instance, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse is engraved with such precision that, if you look closely, you can see tiny depictions of the statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. This level of detail is often overlooked, yet it reflects the craftsmanship of the mint and the care put into designing even everyday coins. Some collectors enjoy studying the subtle differences in the finish, the sharpness of the strike, or the way light reflects off the surface. These small observations can turn a simple penny into a subject of fascination and conversation. Collectors love the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny today because it represents a snapshot of American life in the early 1990s. It's a coin that circulated in wallets, on counters, and in cash registers, connecting people through everyday transactions. For collectors, there's a sense of nostalgia in holding a coin that has witnessed decades of daily use, yet remains a symbol of history and artistry. Its simplicity, combined with the potential for rare errors, makes it a perfect addition to a collection of Lincoln pennies or modern coins in general. Owning one can feel like holding a small piece of living history, a tangible connection to a moment in time that is otherwise invisible in our fast-paced world. Even if you are not a collector, the story of the 1991 Lincoln penny reminds us that value is often hidden in plain sight. What appears to be a common object can carry historical significance, artistic detail, and even financial worth. It invites curiosity, encouraging us to look closer, to appreciate the small things that surround us every day. Coins like this one prompt us to ask questions, to imagine the hands that carried it before us, and to consider the stories embedded in everyday objects. In conclusion, the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is much more than just a piece of metal. It is a connection to Abraham Lincoln's enduring legacy, a testament to the craftsmanship of the United States Mint, and a potential treasure for collectors who recognize its value. Whether you find one in your pocket change, inherited from a relative, or purchased at a coin shop, this humble penny invites exploration and discovery. It encourages us to pause and consider the extraordinary within the ordinary, and to remember that even the smallest coin can hold a world of history, detail, and intrigue. So next time you spot a 1991 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, take a closer look. Examine its details, consider its history, and imagine the countless lives it has touched. You may just find that behind its simple copper surface lies a story that is richer than you ever expected. After all, sometimes the most remarkable treasures are hidden in the coins we pass by every day. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people pass by every day without a second thought. Yet this tiny piece of copper could be hiding a story that connects you directly to history. One penny, minted in 1997, with a small D stamped on it, holds secrets that even some seasoned collectors find fascinating. What makes this ordinary coin, a 1997 D Lincoln penny, so special that people hunt for it in change, coin jars, and dusty drawers? Today, we're going to uncover the story behind this unassuming coin and why it has quietly captured the attention of collectors across the United States. The 1997 D Lincoln penny is part of a long line of Lincoln cents, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The D Mint mark indicates that it was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the United States' key coin production facilities. At first glance, it might look like any other penny in your pocket, with Lincoln's profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But as we dive deeper, you'll see that this small coin carries a wealth of history and some surprising features that make it stand out. In 1997, the United States was in a period of steady economic growth. The Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for nearly 90 years, and the U.S. Mint continued producing these coins to meet everyday demand. The 1997 D penny was no exception. It was made primarily from copper-plated zinc, a composition that had been standard since 1982. This change in metal was due to the rising cost of copper, which had made older, mostly copper pennies too expensive to produce. Each penny was composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, giving it the familiar coppery look while being more cost-effective. The design of the coin is classic. On the obverse, you see Abraham Lincoln sculpted in profile, his thoughtful gaze facing to the right. This image has been used for nearly every penny since 1909, although the design has been subtly updated over the years. The reverse of the coin in 1997 still featured the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. Tiny details, like the columns of the memorial and Lincoln himself visible in the center, make the coin surprisingly intricate when examined up close. Now, what makes a 1997 D Lincoln penny more than just pocket change? For starters, certain pennies from this year can carry minor errors or variations that catch a collector's eye. Some coins exhibit double die features, where the image appears slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. Others might show variations in the thickness of the mint mark or small imperfections in the lettering. These errors are rare, but when they do appear, they can significantly increase a coin's value. Even subtle variations can mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth several dollars, or more if it's in pristine condition. While the 1997 D Lincoln penny is not the rarest coin in American history, its value is tied to condition, minting anomalies, and collector demand. Coins that have been kept in uncirculated condition, with a shiny surface and crisp details, are far more sought after than those that have been worn down by everyday use. A standard circulated 1997 D penny might still only be worth face value. But a high-grade example, particularly one with a noticeable error, can fetch anywhere from a few dollars to over $100, depending on its rarity and appeal. Auction houses and online marketplaces have seen some interesting sales of this coin over the years. For example, A well-preserved 1997 D penny with a minor doubling error sold for around $25 in a collector's auction. Another penny with a particularly sharp and clear mint mark, in uncirculated condition, went for nearly $50. These numbers might not seem staggering compared to rare gold coins or older silver dollars, but for a coin that was minted in the millions, it's impressive. The appeal comes not just from monetary value, but from the thrill of discovering a coin that stands out from ordinary circulation pieces. So how can you spot a real 1997 D Lincoln penny, especially if you're hoping to find one with collector value? First, examine the mint mark. The D should be small, clear, and properly aligned under the date. Counterfeit mint marks or added errors are usually sloppy and can be identified by slight differences in font, depth, or placement. Next, look at the coin's edges and surface. Authentic coins have a consistent thickness, a smooth rim, and a clear strike. Errors like doubling or off-center strikes should appear naturally, not forced. Using a magnifying glass can help reveal subtle details, and comparing your coin to verified images from reputable sources is always a smart move. Collectors love uncovering surprises in everyday coins, and the 1997 D Lincoln penny has a few fun details worth mentioning. Did you know that Abraham Lincoln was the first U.S. president to appear on a circulating coin? Before 1909, no president had ever been featured on everyday currency. Another interesting fact is that the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse actually shows Lincoln sitting inside the memorial, visible between the columns, a detail that often goes unnoticed without close inspection. And while the penny is small and often overlooked, it has inspired entire communities of collectors who seek out coins from each year, mint mark, and special variation. The 1997 D Lincoln penny also connects to broader themes in American history. It represents a period when coin production was adjusting to changing costs and materials, moving from primarily copper to zinc-based pennies. It shows how even everyday objects like a penny reflect economic trends and technological advancements. For collectors, that story is part of the allure. Owning a 1997 D penny isn't just about the coin itself, but about holding a piece of history in your hand. Today, collectors appreciate this coin for a mix of historical significance, design charm, and the thrill of hunting for rare variations. Finding a well-preserved example or spotting a minor mint error gives collectors a sense of discovery that few other everyday objects can provide. Even casual collectors or those new to numismatics can enjoy the process of sorting through change, examining pennies, and learning the subtle differences that make some coins stand out. It's a reminder that history is often hiding in plain sight, tucked into your pocket or your piggy bank. As we wrap up, consider this. Every 1997 D Lincoln penny you encounter carries a story, from its careful design to the subtle variations created in the minting process. Each coin is a tiny witness to history, economic changes, and the ongoing fascination with one of America's most enduring symbols, Abraham Lincoln. The next time you pick up a penny, maybe it's a 1997 D, maybe it's not, but pause for a moment and imagine the journey it's taken. Who knows, perhaps in the ordinary, you might just discover something extraordinary. So, the next time you rummage through a jar of pennies, keep an eye out for that small D and the quiet promise it holds. You might be holding more than just a coin. You might be holding a piece of American history, waiting to reveal its secrets. And if you do find one, look closely, because even a coin minted in 1997 can surprise you in ways you never expected. After all, history often hides in the smallest details, and sometimes the most ordinary objects carry the most extraordinary stories. Imagine holding a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, just a small copper disc in your pocket. But what if I told you that one tiny penny from 2006 could secretly be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars to the right collector? Today, we're diving into the story of the 2006 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has captured the attention of coin enthusiasts and casual collectors alike. What makes this penny so special? And why are people hunting for it as if it were buried treasure? Let's find out. The coin we're talking about is a 2006 Lincoln penny, part of the long-running series of U.S. cents that feature the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front, or obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, or reverse. The 2006 penny is a modern piece, issued by the United States Mint as part of the regular circulation. But unlike most coins that pass quietly from pocket to pocket, this penny has a twist. Some of these coins were struck without the small mint mark that normally identifies where the coin was made. And that tiny absence makes all the difference. To understand why, we need a quick look at the history. The Lincoln cent has been a staple of American coinage since 1909, first introduced to honor Abraham Lincoln on the centennial of his birth. Over the decades, the design has seen a few changes, but the general profile has remained the same. By 2006, the penny was made primarily of zinc, with a thin copper coating, a change that started in 1982 to reduce costs. The Philadelphia Mint, which is one of the main mints in the U.S., typically struck these coins with no mint mark, while the Denver and San Francisco mints included a D or S mark, respectively. But in 2006, a small number of pennies meant for general circulation somehow ended up lacking the mint mark entirely in situations where a mark should have been present. Now, let's talk about what makes the 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny stand out. On the surface, it looks like any other modern penny. It's small, round, and copper-colored, measuring about 19 millimeters in diameter. Abraham Lincoln's profile, facing right, dominates the obverse, with the words "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 2006 stamped clearly on the right. Flip it over and you see the Lincoln Memorial, a design used on pennies from 1959 to 2008, with the motto "E Pluribus Unum" and the words "United States of America" and 1 cent. What makes it unique isn't obvious at first glance. The key feature is the missing mint mark, which is usually a tiny D or S below the year. In the 2006 no mint mark penny, this letter is completely absent when it should appear. For coin collectors, mint marks aren't just cosmetic. They tell the story of where the coin was made, and sometimes, a missing mark can turn a common coin into a sought-after rarity. Errors like this happen due to mistakes during the striking process at the mint, often when the minting dies are prepared or replaced. And in the world of coin collecting, mistakes are treasures. But why exactly is this penny considered rare or valuable? Modern pennies are produced in the millions, but a missing mint mark is unusual. Most 2006 pennies in circulation are completely ordinary. The few that were struck without a mint mark are significantly scarcer, making them highly desirable for collectors who focus on errors or anomalies. Even small errors can command attention because they represent a moment in minting history that wasn't intended, a deviation from the norm. In other words, owning one is like owning a piece of a secret story. To give you an idea of its value, there are documented cases where these pennies have sold at auctions or private sales for impressive sums. While a typical 2006 penny is worth face value 1 cent, no mint mark versions have appeared in auctions for anywhere from $50 to several $100s, depending on condition. High-grade examples, those that are uncirculated or appear almost flawless, can even push into the low thousands for the most discerning collectors. These figures might seem staggering for a coin you could easily mistake for pocket change, but the rarity and uniqueness drive the price. Identifying a genuine 2006 no mint mark penny is surprisingly simple if you know what to look for. First, examine the area just below the year. On a standard Philadelphia struck penny, there is often no mint mark, but in cases where a mark should appear due to special sets or limited runs, the absence is unusual. A magnifying glass can help confirm the details. Look closely at the edges and surfaces too. Counterfeiters sometimes attempt to remove or alter mint marks, but authentic error coins typically show no signs of tampering. The missing mark is clean, with no scratches, filing marks, or unnatural modifications. Collectors often consult coin guides, grading services, or online databases to verify authenticity before making a purchase. There are also some fun and surprising details about this penny. One is that it comes from an era when pennies were already becoming less practical in everyday life. By 2006, many people preferred electronic payments, and coins like the penny were increasingly relegated to jars and drawers. The irony is that these pennies, once considered almost worthless, can now carry significant collector value because of a small, unnoticed detail. Another interesting aspect is that the 2006 no mint mark penny represents a snapshot of Philadelphia mint production, offering a glimpse into the complex, highly automated process that produces billions of coins every year. A tiny error in a facility that churns out coins by the thousands becomes a rare anomaly worthy of fascination. Collectors are drawn to this coin for multiple reasons. First, it's a modern rarity, meaning it's easier to verify than older coins with more ambiguous provenance. Second, it's a perfect example of how mistakes can create value in numismatics, the study and collection of coins. Third, there's an element of detective work involved. Hunting for these pennies can be an exciting challenge, whether you're searching rolls from banks, inspecting coins from estate sales, or browsing online auctions. Owning one isn't just about the monetary value. It's about possessing a story, a tangible piece of minting history that most people overlook. Today, the 2006 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. It's not flashy, it doesn't feature precious metals, and it isn't adorned with a special design. What it does offer is rarity and the thrill of discovery. It reminds collectors that even in the modern age, with coins produced by machines with extreme precision, surprises still happen. Every time someone finds one in circulation, it's like uncovering a hidden gem. And for those who love the intersection of history, artistry, and small surprises, that's priceless. So next time you pick up a penny from your pocket or the counter, take a closer look. That unassuming copper disc could be hiding a secret from 2006. A coin that skipped a tiny letter but captured the imagination of collectors around the country. The 2006 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a story of history, rarity, and human fascination. Could the next penny you find be a hidden treasure? The hunt continues, and the story of these small but remarkable coins is far from over. And as we close, remember this. In the world of coins, even the smallest details can make a huge difference. A missing letter, a tiny scratch, or an unusual shine can transform an everyday object into a collector's dream. The 2006 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is proof that the past is always waiting to surprise us, sometimes in the most unexpected places, right in the palm of your hand. Keep looking, because you never know which penny might be the next one to tell its story. This coin may be small, but its legacy is enormous. And for those who love a good mystery wrapped in copper, the 2006 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny will always have a story worth telling. Imagine holding a penny in your hand that millions of people passed by without a second thought. Now imagine that same penny could be worth hundreds of dollars to the right collector. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing modern coins in American history, the 2015 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. On the surface, it looks like any other 1-cent coin. But a closer look reveals a story that blends history, mystery, and the kind of collector excitement that makes even casual coin enthusiasts stop in their tracks. The 2015 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is part of the Lincoln Cent series, one of the most iconic coins in the United States. The Lincoln penny itself has been in continuous production since 1909, first introduced to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Over a century later, it remains a symbol of American history and craftsmanship. But what makes this particular penny from 2015 so special is something that might be easy to overlook unless you know what to look for. In 2015, the United States Mint produced pennies at both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities. Coins minted in Philadelphia traditionally have no mint mark, while Denver minted coins carry a small D under the date. The 2015 no mint mark penny was officially produced in Philadelphia, but what captured collectors' attention was an unusual quirk. Some of these pennies display subtle variations in design and finish that are rare for modern coins. The mint had intended to continue a consistent production line, but small errors and anomalies began to appear in circulation. This coin is struck from the familiar composition of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, a formula used since 1982. Unlike the older all-copper pennies, this change in metal content affects weight, color, and durability. The obverse, or front, features Abraham Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has appeared on the penny for more than a century. The reverse in 2015 returned to the classic Union Shield design, introduced in 2010, symbolizing national unity. But what makes some of these pennies stand out are subtle errors, including double dies, off-center strikes, and unusual die polishing marks. For many collectors, These tiny imperfections turn an otherwise common coin into a rare treasure. So why is the 2015 no-mint mark penny rare? Unlike older coins, modern pennies are produced in the millions, which usually makes them less valuable. However, the 2015 Philadelphia penny gained attention due to very limited instances of production errors that slipped through quality control. Coins with these anomalies are scarce because the mint typically destroys defective coins before they reach circulation. When one manages to survive and is discovered by a collector, it becomes a coveted item. Even a minor anomaly can make a coin far more valuable than its face value. Real examples of this coin have sold at auction for impressive sums. One 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, showing a clear double die on the reverse shield, fetched over $300 at a private auction. Another coin, featuring an unusual die polish streak near Lincoln's shoulder, sold for just under $200. While that might not sound like a fortune compared to coins from the 1800s, it's significant for a modern penny. Keep in mind, most pennies from 2015 in perfect condition are only worth a cent or slightly more to collectors. The difference comes down entirely to these rare production anomalies. If you want to identify a real 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, there are a few tips to keep in mind. First, check the date and make sure there is no mint mark below it. This confirms it was struck in Philadelphia. Next, look closely at the reverse Union Shield design. Any doubling of lines, unusual streaks, or extra metal around the edges could indicate an error. Magnification is your friend here. Many of these details are microscopic. Finally, always compare with known authentic examples from trusted sources or grading services. Avoid coins that seem artificially altered or polished, because these are often counterfeits or cleaned coins, which collectors avoid. There are also some surprising fun facts about this penny that make it more than just an object of value. For instance, even though it's a modern coin, it carries one of the oldest designs still in use in the United States. Lincoln's portrait has appeared on the penny longer than any other president's likeness on U.S. coinage. Another interesting detail is the Union Shield on the reverse. Its 13 stripes represent the original colonies, while the horizontal bar at the top symbolizes Congress. Some collectors even enjoy hunting for variations in the shading of the shield, which can differ slightly from coin to coin due to the minting process. Collectors also love this coin because it bridges the gap between historical interest and modern availability. You don't need to dig through a dusty attic to find a potential treasure. Some coins with notable errors are still hiding in circulation, in pocket change or coin rolls. The thrill of discovering one yourself is a big part of the coin's allure. Moreover, because it's a 21st century penny, it's accessible to newer collectors who may not have the budget for rare 19th century coins. This makes it a perfect introduction to the world of numismatics, while also offering the excitement of a real collectible hunt. Another reason collectors are fascinated by the 2015 no-mint mark penny is the story behind its rarity. Unlike classic rarities that owe their value to age or historical significance, this coin's intrigue comes from human error. It reminds us that even the most modern, mass-produced items are subject to chance, imperfection, and the occasional accident. It's a small but tangible link to the manufacturing process, a reminder that history isn't just in museums or textbooks. It can be right in your pocket. In some cases, the value of a 2015 no-mint mark penny can also be affected by grading. Professional coin grading companies examine the coin's condition, strike quality, and any anomalies. A high-grade example of a penny with a rare doubling or die error can dramatically increase its worth, sometimes by hundreds of dollars. Graded coins also provide buyers with confidence, which is important in a market where errors can be subtle and difficult to authenticate. Even beyond the monetary aspect, there's something undeniably charming about the 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It reminds us that collecting coins is as much about curiosity as it is about investment. You learn to observe tiny details, appreciate craftsmanship, and understand the stories behind what might seem like ordinary objects. In a way, every penny becomes a miniature piece of history, connecting us to the people and processes that created it. So the next time you come across a penny, take a closer look. Could it be one of the rare 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies with a subtle error? You never know what small but significant piece of history might be hiding in plain sight. Even in an age dominated by digital payments, a simple copper and zinc coin can still hold surprises, secrets, and a story waiting to be told. That's the magic of this modern penny. It's a tiny, everyday object that invites curiosity, rewards careful observation, and occasionally can be worth far more than a simple cent. Collectors continue to search for these rare coins today, sharing discoveries online, at coin shows, and in private auctions. Each find sparks excitement, conversation, and sometimes a bit of friendly competition. The 2015 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that even in the modern world, the thrill of discovery still exists, waiting for those who are willing to look closely enough. And perhaps that's the most fascinating part of all. A coin made in 2015, nearly forgotten by most, can suddenly become a treasure simply because someone noticed a tiny, unexpected detail. In that sense, every pocket change holds the potential for surprise. Maybe the next rare coin is already in your wallet, waiting for you to spot it. The story of the 2015 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny reminds us that history isn't always buried in the past. It sometimes jingles softly in your pocket, waiting to be discovered.